Hey guys, welcome back to another client tutorial. So in this tutorial, I'm going to keep it very clean, very simple, but at the same time a little bold. So let's get started. So for primer, I'm using this e.l.f. Luminous Putty Primer. I wanted something that was going to give me a glow from within kind of thing, but not necessarily dewy. So this primer did just that. Love it, and it's e.l.f. so you know it's affordable. For her brows, as you can see, she already has like a shape. She already has eyebrow hair. So I'm pretty much just outlining her eyebrows and then doing some like hair-like strokes in the front of it just to give it a little bit more definition, a little bit more shape, but not necessarily like drawing them on it.
Aren't you forgetting something?
So this is what one brow looks like. Keep in mind that we're going to clean them up later with concealer. So it's okay if you do not draw them on perfectly. It's okay if you accidentally go outside the lines because that's what we go in with the concealer for. Now I'm going in and cleaning and carving those brows to get them nice and sharp. I also use the concealer as a eyeshadow base. So yeah, it was like a 2-for-1 for me.
JJ, aren't you forgetting something? JJ, aren't you forgetting something?
When you're cleaning up your brows, I really recommend that you connect one brow with the other, almost like making a unibrow. That way they appear more even because it's very hard to get them exactly the same, very even. It's very hard. Like that's very unrealistic. So, we're just going to create illusions and make it seem like they're 100% even, 100% perfect when in reality that's not possible. So, yeah, connect the brows and I promise you will love it. To clean up the top of her brow, I'm going in with her foundation that I will use later for the rest of her face. But yeah, we don't want that Halo 2016 Instagram brow over here. So I go very close to her skin tone for the top of her brows. I do not like to go lighter for the top at all. I do not like that look. And then also when you go lighter just underneath the brow, it gives it a more lifted look. So yeah. To prime the rest of her eyelid, I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer, just in a darker shade. And this just makes it easier for me when I go into shadow because it's already brown. And that's all I'm doing for her eyelids is just brown shadow. So because I kept her eyeshadow very simple in this tutorial, I wanted to try something new. So usually I set the eyelid with a loose powder, a translucent powder, something along those lines. But for this tutorial, I did not do that, and I just went in with a eyeshadow and not setting it before I did that. And I really did not like it. I ended up going in with the loose powder after this because I just felt like it was just moving around and it was just not giving me the look that I wanted. So maybe I'll try it again in another tutorial or another time, but for this look it just wasn't it. Like, do you see the difference with me setting it versus it unset? Like, it just looks better, it looks more matte, and it doesn't move around as much.
JJ, aren't you forgetting something?
So now, starting with foundation, I like to apply the foundation this way so that I have more control over where I'm putting it and how much I'm using. And then as you'll see, I use a darker foundation just for her forehead area because I just felt like it was just looking a little weird up there. And now I'm going in with the Instapop cheek brush and blending it out. And do you see how it's just effortlessly blending? I am definitely a brush girl when it comes to foundation. Let me know what you guys use. Do you use a sponge or a brush when it comes to foundation?
JJ, aren't you forgetting something?
Now it's time for concealer. I'm going in with the Tarte Shape Tape, the one that I used for her brows, the lighter one that I used for her brows. And I wanted her face to be like very lifted, very like just snatched. So I didn't really bring the concealer down that far. I didn't bring it down past her cheeks, I'll say that, because I wanted to give that like lifted look. So for your concealer, placement is very, very, very important. If you bring it too far down, it may make your client look droopy and saggy. And then if you bring it too far up, it may make them look like a drag queen. So just be mindful of your concealer placement, your concealer and your contour placement. Those two are very important because it shapes the face. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But could we just take a moment of silence for how bomb this concealer blends? Like, do you just see it's just butter? It's just melt. Like, let's just take a moment of silence. Hold on. Okay, like seriously, this concealer is amazing. It's very much worth the money. I love the shade range. Like, it's just everything.
Aren't you forgetting something?
So for directly underneath her eye, I'm going in with a sponge because the brush just can't really get in the places that I needed to. As much as I love the brush for blending, just to give it that final like airbrush look, I like to use a sponge. And then I also use this sponge to set her concealer. So I use this sponge for powder as well. So this is how it looks all blended. I love how it looks. Now I'm going in with the Derma Blend powder and just setting pretty much everywhere that I put that concealer. Love this powder, one of my favorites.
JJ, aren't you forgetting something?
To set the rest of her face, I'm using this MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, and it's a very sheer powder, which I love because it doesn't really add coverage or color. It pretty much just sets the powder, but it's not as heavy as a loose powder, like the loose translucent powder. For her nose contour, I'm pretty much just connecting the natural shadows of her nose to her eyeshadow. So not really doing too much with the nose contour. Just connected the shadow with the natural shadows, and then for the middle of her nose, the nose bridge, I just put some translucent powder right there just to, you know, bring out the shape a little bit more. Now for bronzer, I'm using the Morphe bronzers. I really love the undertone of their bronzers. For me, bronzers, like, I'm really picky about the undertone. Like, a bronzer could be so good, but if the undertone is off, it's trash for me. So I really would check out the Morphe bronzers because their undertones are really good. And then for blush, I'm just using the peach blush out of the Warriors 2 palette from Juvia's Place.
Aren't you forgetting something?
Now I'm just lining her eyes. For her waterline, I love me a good gel pencil. It helps with clients who have really sensitive eyes. And then for the top, I just used the Sephora black liner. Just did a simple little line. And now for her lips, I feel like the red lips really made the look. Just wiping off that concealer. I mean, not the concealer, the foundation that got on her lips, just to give me a clean slate. And now I'm just lining her lips and getting it ready for the lipstick. So now that I've applied her lipstick, I like my red lipsticks to be like a matte velvet. So in order to achieve that look, I like to set it with a red shadow. As you can see, it just elevates the lips. Like, it just makes it look very, like, I don't know, it just looks really good. So yeah. So now that I'm dusting that extra powder off, we're going to melt everything together with this amazing setting spray. I actually used way more than that, but I had to edit a lot of it out. And I used some gel, or some lash glue, sorry, not gel, some lash glue for her brows, just to give it like that brow laminated look. And as you can see, I applied her lashes. I applied top and bottom lashes, and yeah, so that's pretty much the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure you like it, make sure you comment, and follow me on Instagram, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.